If you got any of that toilet paper left over from the great toilet paper shortage of 2020, you might consider selling some of that for a tank of gas today. Or you could just buy a Tesla and you wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. Of course, I know there's a lot of people out there who are just going to say, well, if I do that, I'm just going to be trading a high gas bill for a high electric bill. But that's not really true because people really don't run the numbers. What they do is they compare the full electric bill to a full tank of gas price, and they're not actually thinking this through. Let me give you an example. My wife drives an Atlas Volkswagen, which is a pretty good-sized vehicle, and right now we both commute the same commute every day. Now, we probably commute a lot more than most people, but our total monthly miles is around 2,600 miles for both of us. It's identical. We work at the same place. And she pays right now about $525 a month in gas. And the extra charge on our electric bill for my Tesla is around $94 to $104 a month for 2,600 miles. Think that through for just a second. And this is the first item on my list of lies that's probably keeping you in a gas vehicle right now. And that lie is my electric bill will be just as expensive as a gas bill. Not true. And as I said, this myth survives because people just aren't running the numbers the right way. They're just looking at full electric bill versus full gas bill. Doesn't work that way. Look at what you're paying before you actually got a Tesla, or look at somebody else's Tesla and see what they were actually paying on their electric bill before they started charging from home. And you're going to actually see this is just another lie. And that doesn't even begin to cover the savings that you get from no more oil changes, no more tune-ups, no more combustion engine service visits. And now for my second lie that's keeping you in a gas car. Everybody says, won't the battery just die soon after a few years? And the cost to replace those batteries is astronomical. It's not worth it. Not really. All that's changed. It's not the same anymore. For some reason, people think these things, they just suddenly fail. I'm not saying that couldn't happen, but it's just not the way it works. They sort of degrade over time, and it's like 10% to 15% over many years. So it just doesn't happen all at once. And there is battery degradation. But, how many of you are actually keeping a gas vehicle for 10 or 12 years? A few people do. I usually keep my gas vehicles about 10 years, and then I get rid of them because they're wore down. They got rust all over them. By that time, it's just time to get a new one. And so it's going to be about the same for a Tesla anyway. And aside from that, you're just going to save money on the gas and all the maintenance that goes into those. It's just another lie that's keeping you in a gas car. This lie sticks because battery replacement can be expensive, but it's not as expensive as what it used to be. A lot of people think the batteries are about $20,000. It's not really that way anymore. They're around $12,000 for a new battery, and that's pretty comparable. If you had to swap out a V6 engine for a car and do a lot of work, you're getting pretty close to those costs right there anyway. So it's just not like it used to be where you're going to be footing $20,000 for a new battery. That's just not the case anymore. Yeah, but you'll get stranded with nowhere to charge. No, that's another big misconception. For some reason, non-owners seem to think of charging like gas stations, rare and inconvenient places you got to try and track down to go charge. And that's not really the way charging works. You're not always going on a road trip in your Tesla. Most people are going to work every day, and most charging actually takes place in their home. This misunderstanding misses the fact that most charging happens at home. You wake up every day with a full tank of charge, so to speak, and public charging is just for road trips, not daily life, and Tesla's supercharging network is built along highways, exactly where you need it, and not random places like people assume. This lie isn't really based on experience. It's based on the thinking that Teslas work like gas cars work, and that just isn't the case. And here's another big lie. Charging takes forever. I'm not going to go to a charging station and sit there and wait for hours on end while I charge my car just so I can go to work and come home every day. And that's not really the way it works. Charging is very passive, especially if you have a charging station in your garage at home. So basically, you would just go to work, come home, plug your car in, and you can plug in at off-peak times and save even more money. And your car is ready to go with a full tank of charge the next morning. People who have gas cars don't have this benefit. They have to basically wait until the car gets low on gas. Then they run by a gas station somewhere or find a gas station with the cheapest price. Then they go tank up, and then they can come home. You don't have to do that. Now, I know there are people who own Teslas that don't have a charger at home, people who live in apartments that have Teslas, and they use the charging stations, the high-speed chargers, and they've found a way to make that work, and that's good too. But most people will install a charger at home, and it's going to work to their benefit. It's going to save them time. Every single day they get up, they're going to have a full charge on their vehicle, and it just makes life so much easier. No more gas station trips. And here's another big lie. Yeah, but Teslas don't work in cold weather, right? Cold range loss gets exaggerated into the car is basically unusable, and that's not really true. Yes, EVs do lose range in cold weather, but so do gas cars in different ways. They're less efficient, longer warm-up times, and Tesla preconditions the battery, heats the cabin instantly, and handles winter driving extremely well, especially with the weight distribution and the traction control and the low center of gravity that you get with the heavy battery. The reality is you adjust expectations slightly, not your ability to use the car. So as an example, in my state, we had temps this last winter that were around -6. And it lasted that way for about a week, a little over a week. And so all I did was I added 5% to my daily charge of 80%, which is around what they recommend that you do is an 80% charge. So I added 5% because I was losing about 5 to 6% every day because of the cold weather. So I just bumped it to 85%. By the time I got home, it was the same as any other day. And so I plug in, charging is basically the same, charge back up, I'm good to go. There's only a 5% difference. I didn't really see any difference in my electric bill. It was such a small amount, and problem solved. So no, it's really not that difficult. Here's another big lie. The full self-driving offered by Tesla is dangerous and unpredictable. Not true. My driving right now consists of about 94% full self-driving. So that means that 94% of the time I'm on the road in my car over the last year is all done by Tesla's full self-driving program. That's quite a bit of driving, and I'm not doing it. I'm just sitting in the car. This lie is usually based on headlines that are not true and usually proven incorrect after a period of time. They're not real-world use or what people are actually experiencing with the software. Most people that form this opinion have never actually used Tesla's full self-driving. They just see these videos online, they panic, they talk about how bad it is, they've never actually been in it, they've never taken a test drive, they really don't even know how it works. And it's sad that they have that view without ever giving it a try. And FSD is actually shocking to those who use it for the first time. The first time I took a test drive, I was shocked. It blew me away. I had no idea that this was actually capable in a car, and I was sold right from that moment. It was amazing. A lot of people judge Tesla FSD like it should be perfect, flawless, no mistakes whatsoever, and they ignore the fact that everybody on the road is making mistakes all the time. That doesn't mean they're getting in accidents, or that also doesn't mean that FSD is getting in accidents. So you really have to look at it from this perspective. It's full self-driving supervised. It's like a high-end cruise control that does almost everything for you, and you just kind of sit there and watch it work. And it does make driving much more relaxing, especially if you do a lot of driving like I do. And if you look at it from the perspective that FSD is life-changing for a lot of people who have handicaps and elderly people who want to get out more and do things that, keep themselves active, FSD really is a game changer for those people. Lie number 7. Yeah, but the insurance is insanely expensive it really doesn't offset everything enough. It's just not worth it. Not true. We all know how the insurance game works. Good driver, good price. Bad driver, bad price. So a lot of people want to know about insurance costs and everything. And the reality is that's really depending on how you drive, how many tickets you got. All that stuff comes into play when it comes to insurance. And you can get good insurance pricing on a Tesla very easy. And in fact, right now, for some states, Tesla's actually offering $50 a month insurance for FSD users with a high percentage of FSD use. And I believe those states are Arizona, Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, and possibly Maryland and Florida. I would have to double check on that. But you can basically get your insurance from Tesla for about $50 if you're using FSD all the time. Pretty impressive. That's pretty cheap insurance. Obviously, there are probably other factors that come into play, just like I mentioned, but that's a pretty good deal. Yeah, but repairs take forever and cost a fortune, right? No, not really true. That's sort of an old Tesla reputation that's kind of lingering on. It's just not the case anymore. And if you look at all the tech that's on the cars, you're going to have a lot of things that go into issues with gas cars that have tons of tech on them as well. And anytime that you have to do service work on them, all the stuff that builds up, it's no different than a gas car as far as that goes. You're going to have things that you have to do, but it's just better. In fact, if you live close to a Tesla dealer or service center, they'll even come and pick up your car and take it. And I imagine at some point, once they have the unsupervised self-driving, you'll probably just schedule your car for service. Your car will probably drive there, get service, drive back home, and be ready for you. It sounds kind of weird, but that's probably coming. Yeah, but the build quality is terrible on these cars. Not anymore. Yes, they did have issues early on. In fact, even when I bought my car and I was watching a lot of videos online trying to learn exactly what I should do when I go to pick up the car, there were all these videos about, hey, check the build quality, make sure the panels look good, make sure you don't have massive gaps and everything. And so I was kind of panicked that, oh man, what did I just buy? Is it a piece of junk now? It's going to look terrible. And that's just not the case. The car was great. I couldn't even find anything wrong with it. I've seen problems with other vehicles that I've bought in the past, and it wasn't that big of a deal on those. And I just couldn't find anything that was bad with the car. It looked really good. And I think it's just a fantastic car. Looks amazing. The car itself is really good looking. It just has a good design, and it's pretty sharp. Yeah, but you have to change your entire lifestyle just to own one of these cars. No, that's not true either. This one is simply fear-based, and people think that they have to plan every drive and hunt for chargers and constantly think about battery percentage. In reality, most owners think about it less than gas cars. No gas stations, no oil changes, just plug in at home and go. The truth is, your lifestyle doesn't change. It simplifies. It gets easier. And man, it's so nice to never have to go to a gas station again. I just get up in the morning. I got a full tank of charge. It's amazing. No more gas stations. I mean, it really is nice, and what a time saver over time. It really is amazing how it works. Yeah, but you can't take long road trips in a Tesla. Man, that's just not true either. For some reason, everybody thinks Tesla or electric vehicle means you have to live in the city, and that's just not true. I live about 30 minutes away from the city, out in the country, and I commute every day, and it's really nice. And I love it better than the gas cars I've had. And it's just different than gas. It's not harder. And once you've done it, the fear kind of fades away as far as charging and battery percentage and all the things that go in with that. And let me just say, I have not taken a big road trip in my Tesla yet. But I have done a road trip in a gas car with my wife, my daughter, and my daughter-in-law. And I'm here to tell you, I don't know how many times I had to make stops. And every time I stopped, it took forever to get back on the road again. So Would I have had time to charge my Tesla if I was using a Tesla then? You better believe it, because we stopped a lot, probably more than I would have if I was just in a Tesla by myself. That being said, don't want to get myself in trouble, but yes, you're going to have to plan out your stops, and you don't have to do it yourself. And that's what's so nice. All you have to do is punch in where you're going, and it will plan every stop for you. It will plan good places to stop and charge. If you want to stop by places that you want to eat, it can plan all that out. It really is amazing the whole way the mapping system works with planning out your route, especially if you're going on a long trip. And people do it every day. And they take these cars on long trips every day, and there's no complaints. They know how to do it. It's just a different way of doing it. It's not harder. It's just different. And I believed a lot of these same lies before I bought a Tesla, and that's probably what kept me from getting a Tesla for quite some time. It took me about 1.5 years to really pull the trigger on it, but I reached a point where I had to get another vehicle due to my situation, and I'm glad I made this decision. And to be honest, the biggest thing keeping people out of buying a Tesla probably isn't the price, isn't the charging or the range or any of that stuff that you usually think of, or all these lies. It's just that belief of what you've learned over time. Once you get past that, everything else follows. It's a really easy decision to make. And aside from that, when you go to purchase a Tesla, you can just go right online, buy the car, go in and pick it up, and come home. You don't have to sit at a car dealer like I did for my Volkswagen all day, haggling on price, trying to make sure the price didn't go up or down or anything else, dealing with the salesman and then dealing with the finance guy. And you have to go through all of that. And then, if you're fortunate enough, you'll get out of there by 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. That's what happened to me, and I went at 8 in the morning. Got out around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening. That's pretty pathetic. My Tesla, I ordered it online, went and picked it up, 30 minutes, I was gone. That's the way to buy a car, in my opinion. If you've enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe and all that good stuff, and have a good day.